What if every time your dog licks your hand, your face, or your arm, they are not actually saying, "I love you"? Most dog owners believe licking means affection. A dog runs over, gives a few licks, and we instantly assume it is a dog's version of a kiss. And sometimes, that is true. But what if that is only part of the story? Because canine behavior experts have found that dogs lick for many different reasons, affection is only one of them. Dogs may lick to communicate, explore, seek attention, reduce tension, comfort themselves, or reinforce behaviors that have worked before. The surprising part is that many loving owners spend years misunderstanding what their dog is trying to say. Not because they do not care, but because they only notice the licking itself. They do not notice the emotion behind it. Dogs do not use words. They use behaviors. And licking is one of the most misunderstood behaviors of all. Before we begin, if your dog licks you often, this does not mean you have been doing something wrong. Most owners make the same assumption, because the same behavior can have several completely different meanings. A relaxed dog licking your hand while lying beside you may be communicating something very different from a nervous dog licking rapidly during a stressful moment. The action looks identical. The meaning may not be. That is why understanding context is one of the most important parts of understanding dogs. And once you understand what your dog may actually be saying, you may never look at licking the same way again. So if licking does not always mean love, what does it mean? Let's start with the reason most people already know. Sometimes, your dog really is showing affection. Dogs learn about comfort and connection from the very beginning of life. Mother dogs lick their puppies immediately after birth. Puppies are groomed, comforted, and cared for through licking. As they grow older, many dogs continue using licking as part of social bonding and connection. That is why some dogs greet their owners with excited licks after a long day apart. You walk through the door. Their tail begins wagging. Their body becomes loose and relaxed. And then come the licks. In these moments, licking may genuinely be part of how your dog reconnects with someone important. Not because they need something, not because they want food, but because your presence matters to them. For many dogs, licking can be one way of maintaining social bonds, a quiet way of saying that they are happy you are there. But affection is only one possible explanation. Sometimes a lick is not a message of love at all. Sometimes it is a request. Think about what usually happens when your dog licks you. Do you look at them? Talk to them? Pet them? Laugh? Move toward them? Most owners do, and dogs are excellent learners. They quickly discover which behaviors produce results. If licking gets attention, licking becomes useful. Over time, your dog may learn something very simple. When I lick my human, they notice me. And attention is valuable. Even negative attention can sometimes reinforce behavior. A dog does not always care whether you laugh, speak, or gently tell them to stop. And because you responded, the behavior worked. This is why some dogs seem to lick at very specific moments. When you are busy, when you are looking at your phone, when you stop petting them, when they want interaction. The lick may not mean, "I love you." The lick may mean, "Notice me," and that is a very different message. Other times, your dog may not be asking for attention at all. They may simply be investigating you. Humans rely heavily on sight. Dogs rely heavily on scent. Their world is built around information we cannot detect. Your skin carries information. Where you have been. What you touched, who you met, what you ate. Whether you have exercised. Even subtle changes in your body chemistry. Dogs often combine smelling and licking because both behaviors help them gather information about their environment. That is why many dogs become especially interested in your hands after you come home, or your face after a meal, or your arms after exercise. Your dog may be collecting information, learning something new, trying to understand the latest chapter of your day. To us, it feels personal. To them, it is also investigative. It is also a tool for exploration. And perhaps one of the most beautiful things about this reason is that it reveals how curious dogs remain about the people they love. Even after years together, they are still paying attention, still observing, still trying to understand you. Then there is another possibility that many owners never consider. The licking itself may not be the message. The routine may be the message. Think about your own dog. Maybe they lick your hand every morning. Maybe they lick you before bed. Maybe they lick you when you sit together on the couch. Maybe they do it during the exact same moment every day. In these situations, licking can become part of a bonding ritual. Not just affection, not just curiosity. A ritual, a shared routine, that helps your dog feel connected and secure. Dogs are creatures of habit. Routines help them understand their world. When familiar behaviors repeat, life feels predictable. And predictable often feels safe. Over time, some dogs develop small relationship rituals with the people they trust most. A specific greeting, a specific place they sit, a specific behavior they perform. And sometimes, that behavior is licking. The lick itself may not be the important part. It becomes a familiar interaction that says everything is normal. Everything is safe. Everything is okay. But now we reach a reason that surprises many owners. Because not every lick comes from happiness. Not every lick comes from excitement. Sometimes dogs lick because they are trying to keep the peace. Behavior specialists often describe certain licking behaviors as appeasement or calming signals. These signals are used to reduce tension, avoid conflict, and communicate non-threatening intentions. Imagine someone leaning directly over a dog. Imagine a child hugging too tightly. Imagine a situation that feels slightly uncomfortable. Some dogs move away. Some dogs freeze. And some dogs lick. The licking is not necessarily saying, "I enjoy this." The licking may actually be saying, "I don't want trouble. I want this interaction to stay peaceful. I am trying to reduce tension." This is one reason experts encourage owners to look at the entire body, not just the tongue. What are the ears doing? What are the eyes doing? Is the body relaxed? Or stiff? Because context changes everything. The same lick that means affection in one moment may mean discomfort in another. And understanding that difference can help owners respond more appropriately to their dogs. There is another important reason dogs lick that often goes unnoticed. Sometimes they are trying to calm themselves. Research and veterinary behavior experts note that licking can release feel-good chemicals that help dogs feel calmer and more relaxed. This is one reason some dogs lick more during stressful or uncertain situations. Think about human habits. Some people tap their fingers, some bounce their legs, some pace while thinking. These behaviors can help regulate emotions. Dogs have their own versions. For some dogs, licking becomes one of those behaviors. You may notice it during thunderstorms, during fireworks. When visitors arrive, after a major change in routine, or whenever something feels uncertain, the licking may not be directed by affection. It may be directed by self-comfort, a way of helping themselves feel more secure. And finally, there is one last reason that is surprisingly common. Sometimes, licking continues for one simple reason, because it works. Many behaviors begin for one reason and continue for another. Maybe your dog originally licked because they were excited. Then they learned it earned attention. Maybe they licked because they were curious. Then it became part of a routine. Maybe everyone laughed the first few times. And now your dog continues because the behavior has been rewarded again and again. Dogs repeat successful behaviors. That is one of the most basic principles of learning. If something consistently produces a positive outcome, the behavior becomes stronger over time. Eventually, the original reason may disappear completely. The behavior remains because it has become a habit, and habits can become powerful. So what does your dog's licking really mean? The answer is surprisingly simple. Never judge a lick by itself. Look at the entire picture. Look at the situation. Look at your dog's body language. Look at what happened before the licking started. A relaxed dog curled beside you may be expressing affection. A curious dog may be gathering information. A lonely dog may be asking for attention. A nervous dog may be seeking comfort. A worried dog may be trying to keep the peace. The behavior is the same. The meaning is not. The more you learn to observe the moments surrounding a behavior, the more clearly you begin to understand what your dog is actually trying to say. And that may be the most important lesson of all. Because understanding dogs is not about memorizing one meaning for one behavior. It is about learning to see the whole conversation. And sometimes, what looks like a simple lick is actually a message that has been there all along. If this video helped you understand your dog a little better, let us know in the comments. Does your dog lick your hands, your face, your feet, or only at certain moments? And if you enjoy discovering the hidden meanings behind everyday dog behaviors, subscribe to Hidden Dog Language. Because sometimes, the smallest things your dog does are saying the most.